You ever set a simple goal for yourself? Something that should be, easy, only to find yourself in this all-out war with your own brain? Well, today we're diving into that exact struggle, all through the story of just 10 push-ups. And trust me, this isn't really about exercise. It's a story about motivation, about distraction, and about the secret to actually getting things done. Ah, yes. It always starts right here, doesn't it? With that little burst of confidence. We look at the task ahead, we pick a number, and we think, yeah, no problem. This is the voice of our ideal self talking, the one who's disciplined, who's focused, who just nails the plan every single time. We've all been there in that perfect, optimistic moment right before the real work begins. And so the journey begins. The first couple of reps, they feel amazing. You're totally in control, your form is perfect, and that goal, well, it doesn't just seem achievable, it feels inevitable. This is kind of the honeymoon phase of any task, right? Where the plan is working exactly like you imagined it in your head. It feels smooth, powerful. But reality, well, reality always has other plans. And the first real test, it rarely comes from inside us. It comes from the outside world. A distraction. That tiny buzz from a phone has enough power to just completely shatter our focus. The real question is, what do you do next? And this right here is the first act of true willpower. It's a conscious choice, a little mental command to shut out the noise and just stay on target. This is that moment where we choose our goal over our impulse. And look, it might seem like a small win, but in the war against digital distraction, even a small win feels like a huge victory. This slide just captures that internal battle perfectly, doesn't it? On one hand, we've got this image of ourselves as some kind of disciplined machine. But we also live with the reality that, yeah, we're also incredibly easy to distract. This constant tug of war is at the core of pretty much every challenge we take on. And just recognizing that both sides exist is the first step to managing them. But, it's not all just happening in our heads. Our environment plays a huge role in how hard a task feels. So, rep number 7 in a messy apartment feels absolutely brutal. But then, rep number 8 in a motivating gym, suddenly, it feels easy again. The push-up is the same, but the context, the environment, that changes everything. This question is just so real. I mean, how many times have you found it way easier to get work done at a coffee shop than at your own desk? It's the perfect example of how our surroundings can either fuel our motivation or just totally drain it. Our brains are always picking up cues from what's around us. And then we get here. Rep 9. In almost any hard thing you do, there is a rep 9. It's that moment right before the finish line where you can see the end, but you have absolutely nothing left in the tank. It's the point where quitting doesn't just feel tempting, it almost feels logical. This one number represents the absolute peak of the struggle. And this is what we call that moment, the negotiation. See, it's not a physical battle anymore, it's all psychological. Your mind starts making deals. Hey, maybe 9 is enough. Is 10 really that important? I can always finish this up tomorrow. This is the moment of truth. It's that internal debate that decides if we're going to push through or just give in. And the way it's put here is just perfect. 9 is where my soul leaves my body. It's such a visceral feeling, isn't it? A level of exhaustion that feels almost spiritual, where the mental and physical strain just become the same thing. It's the point of maximum resistance, where every part of you is just screaming, stop. So you do it. You push through, you hit the goal. Rep 10 is done. Victory. But then the universe throws a curveball. What happens when you finally reach your target, only to find out the goalposts have moved? This is a special kind of frustrating challenge, where your success is immediately followed by a new, totally unexpected demand. All of a sudden, the count just glitches out. 10 becomes 11, then 12, 13, and the world just goes haywire. One second you're underwater, the next you're in a desert, then you're floating in outer space. This surreal chaos is the perfect picture of that disorienting feeling when a task spirals way beyond what you planned, and you're just trying to hang on. So, after all the shock and confusion, a whole new mindset takes over. It's not about the original goal of 10 anymore, it's just about survival. It's this weary determination. It's a shift from fighting for a plan to just taking the next step, just one at a time, because it's the only thing you can do. So he collapses. The fight is over. It's quiet. And in that quiet moment of total exhaustion, after all the outside goals have just faded away, something new starts to bubble up. And then, a tiny ding. But that sound isn't another demand. For the first time, it's an idea coming from inside. And this is the whole game changer right here. After being pushed around by a number, by a glitch, by some external force, the motivation finally flips. It goes from extrinsic, doing it to hit a quota, to intrinsic, doing it for yourself. And that one thought reframes the entire experience. So let's give this a name. Let's call it the purposeful rep. It's that one extra push, that final 5 minutes you spend studying, that last paragraph you write, not because you have to, but because you choose to. It's an action you take purely for your own growth and your own satisfaction. And you know what? That one single rep is often way more powerful than all 10 that came before it. So in the end, this story was never really about the number 10. The 10 reps were just the setup. The real transformation, the real win, was in that final, single, purposeful one. It just goes to show you that true progress isn't always measured in these big, flashy numbers, but in the small, consistent things we do for our own reasons. And that kind of brings us to the final thought here. Forget about the huge, intimidating goals for just a second, and just think about this. What is your purposeful rep? What's the one small, meaningful thing you can do tomorrow, not for anyone else, not to hit some target,